and together hold to blame. The masters of the day, voice your reason, your way, and shape the world today.
An open letter to Steve Shives and Kristi Winters. Dear Mr. Shives and Ms. Winters, I hope this day finds you well. I am composing this open message as a plea for civility, understanding, and reason in these crazy times we find ourselves living in. I've come to you not to admonish you for your videos or actions, but to make a few observations as someone who tries to make an earnest effort to hear other people's points of view, even if I find those views beneath me, unintelligent, or misguided. Mr. Shives in particular, you not only block or mute anyone you disagree with, you do yourself a further disservice by committing the error of not only building up ideological walls around yourself to shield opposing views, you even celebrate this fact openly. I have followed your channel for some time, Mr. Shives, and I suspect that from your rationale regarding religion that deep down you know that what you're doing isn't facilitating open dialogue and certainly isn't encouraging civility. On Twitter, I find myself on your block list despite never typing a word or directing a video to you in my life. I heard you explain away your refusal to engage others by stating that anyone who listens to someone like Bering, Sargon, etc. isn't someone I want to talk to or give them a platform, and it's validating their opinions. With my utmost respects, I completely disagree with your position. Engaging in dialogue with someone who holds viewpoints you abhor isn't validating that person's opinion. At the core of the right to free speech should be the right to be allowed to be heard. What good is the freedom of speech if someone is bullied into silence? Freedom of speech shouldn't exist so we can talk about the weather. It should be for politically controversial conversation. For some time I have been of the opinion that good ideas are the best disinfectant for the bacteria that is bad ideas. I've never been afraid to expose myself to bad ideas because bad ideas are easy to refute. I hold no animosity towards persons expressing their point as long as it's done so civilly. I take no fear in clearly explaining my points, discussing viewpoints, or listening to any other person as I am confident in my values and humble in my attempts to moderate my positions as needed. For the above stated reasons, I find that your attempts, Ms. Winters and Mr. Shives, to deplatform YouTubers you've grown to despise to be a political faux pas. Your attempt to get Sargon, Armored Skeptic, and Shoe on Head taken off the speakers list at Mythicist Milwaukee was particularly a low blow. The organizers of Mythicist Milwaukee had checked into these YouTubers before they were invited as guest speakers and were well aware of the things that they had said. By partaking in the actions of blacklisting, shunning, naming and shaming, and tattling on political opponents, you come off like morally superior ideologues getting high off the heroin of self-righteousness and forget that an essential element of a free and open society is discourse. Plugging your ears and giving your opponents the proverbial la-la-la-las doesn't serve you nor society well. It is apparent to many that you have allowed your feelings of moral superiority to cloud your judgment and cause you to be fearful of people you shouldn't fear. If you really got to know people like Bering and Sargon and gave a true and honest effort to hear the nuance of their positions, you'd find that they're actually warm and kind people who want a lot of the same things you want, and want a lot of the same things for other people. They, as well as I, just have a different opinion about how to achieve our common goals. I don't mention this to admonish you for your actions, nor to absolve anyone on the quote-unquote anti-side. There are many who are guilty of ideological bias and conformity themselves. I've been guilty of it myself, but I'm humble enough to come to you today and say I was wrong, and I would like to extend my hand as a fellow human and try to find what we have in common instead of always bickering over what we don't. What I'm attempting by writing this letter and making this video is an attempt to offer an olive branch of reason, respect, and most importantly, a plea to remember that our friends, families, co-workers, neighbors, and acquaintances are just like you and I, and want similar things about 85% of the time. What separates us and causes us division is really a splitting of hairs difference, and if we can drop our hostility and animosity towards each other, the world would be a better place. I started my YouTube channel on January 1st of 2016 in hopes of finding like-minded people, as well as to challenge my thoughts so I could grow as a person. The tack both of you have taken, as well as that by many on the anti-side, are fueling the division that has made the world a worse place today than when I graduated from high school in 1999. It's easy to join up with others and build walls of ideology around ourselves, stacking bricks higher and higher while lobbing hand grenades and firing guns at our political opponents. Before we know it, we've built towers of opposition, where from up in the clouds we can no longer see the world for what it is. Many seem to view the world like a chessboard, and those in political opposition as the chess master we wish to defeat. We assume to have that control, but we truly don't. We are one of the pawns on the board, and the kings who wish to control the board would sacrifice any of us in an instant to a rook if it served them in their aspirations for control. People with differing opinions aren't the player on the other side of the board. They're one of the pieces on the board, just like you, just like me, looking for their little own square on this rock hurtling through time and space we call Earth. I actively choose not to participate in the game as it's a lapse in judgment on my part to partake in such a battle. I no longer will allow myself to be played. The question remains, though, will you? My warmest regards, and I extend an open invitation for discussion. This isn't an attempt for me to gain sub count or attention or get views for ad revenue. My channel is small and wasn't making money before, it's surely not making any money now, and I just do this as an earnest attempt to de-escalate the tone of the debate, so we don't just listen to others, but we actually hear them as well. This letter also serves as an open invitation to anyone who wishes to come to the table with respect and to gain understanding. We're not necessarily looking for agreement. The debate isn't always selfishly for us to have or avoid. It should be widely encouraged, as this is how any real, true betterment of society will occur. Sincerely, beware of darkness.
Be excellent to each other.
Everybody gets a name, lives life and passes away. So feel free to display your point of view.